Eurovision fam, it's Alesia Michelle. Today is really exciting because we're talking about winner potential. We're talking about the songs that actually could win Eurovision 2022.
What, Eurovision 2022. I got a new video. Alesia Michelle, I'm ready to go.
Are you ready?
Eurovision fam, Are you ready for the show?
Hey, if you've never been to my channel before, welcome. If you love the Eurovision Song Contest and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Like this video and please consider giving me a subscribe. It's all Eurovision content all day, every day. And without further ado, I gotta get into this video. Okay, so I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid. I feel like when we talk about potentially winning Eurovision 2022, this year is an interesting year. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, this year is like wide open. Now, I don't think that this year is as wide open as we might think. I think that we have a lot of songs that people in their countries really, really like them. I think for the most part at Eurovision this year, we have sort of this challenging dynamic that's sort of going on where it's hard to get a gauge of what people are liking because so many people are liking what their own country is doing. This is a pretty good problem to have. I think that everyone should like that, but it's tricky because you can't vote for your own country. So I think that that's what's sort of throwing a lot of people off when it comes to reading the tea leaves. But you come here for the predictions, so I'm gonna give you what I'm thinking. I have it in my mind that I think Italy and Spain could run away with it, but this is a big but. I think that there are 3 countries that could be coming to like ruin the party, so to speak, for Italy and Spain. Let me lay out my justification. I think for Italy, there's something about this song that's really immediate for a lot of people. I think that it's something about it that sounds quintessential Italian, and I think that's why some people in the bubble are like, oh, this song is so overrated, it's just a simple ballad. Because I think that some people are sort of like, well, Italy always does this, or Italy's done this before, and they're kind of dismissing it based off of that, but forgetting about the fact that expectancy is such an important thing at Eurovision. People, I think, want to kind of hear something like this from Italy. So they're kind of sitting there like, this is beautiful, this is poetry. And I think that there's also a modernity to the production that I feel like people in the bubble just aren't hearing because they're just not getting past sort of the package of it being this Italian ballad. When I played this song for my mom, it was one of her instant favorites. She instantly was like, oh, this is beautiful. I like this. A lot of people are going to like this. And she doesn't really know anything about Eurovision. But I think that she's very similar to what a lot of Europeans might just be feeling on the night, on that Saturday night. I also think that Italy has the potential to maybe actually get some jury love. And I'm not saying, and I think some people are like, oh, the fact that the juries ignore Italy is like a gross exaggeration. I hear what you're saying with that, but I think what it is there's been a real discrepancy with how I think televoters have responded to Italy in comparison to how jurors have responded to Italy. So that's really more so what I'm referencing. But this year is a year where I'm like, I think Italy could be in the top 3 of the jury. And if it's in the top 3 of the jury, I think thinking that it has a chance to crack the top 3 of the televote isn't crazy. And here we are talking about a situation where Italy can then win. Now let me move on and talk about Spain. Again, like Italy, Spain has expectancy on their side. So some people in the bubble are saying, hey, we've gotten a song like this before. But it's been a while since we've gotten a song like this from Spain. I think people are happy to be getting a package like this from Spain. I think that's the key element here. And I think if Europe is in a mood where they want to party, and they're like, we've been stuck in the house for 2 years and they just want to have this vision of being in Benidorm or Ibiza and just dancing in the club, I think that this is going to be the package that they're going to get behind. I think people in the bubble might be having a little bit of Chanel fatigue because we saw it at the national selection. She's been burning up the stages at all of these pre-parties. But we have to remember that we're in the bubble. There are going to be people who are going to experience for the first time on that Saturday night. And if on that Saturday night they're at a party and they want to be at a party next year, or they're at home and they're like, why am I home alone? I want to be at a party. They're picking up the phone and they're calling for Spain. So I think, you know, Italy and Spain to me are my main ones to watch. But now let's talk about who might be ruining the party, so to speak. I'm using that as an expression. Look, I think that Ukraine is going to win the televote this year. I think Ukraine did really well with the televote last year. I think that there is something about this song that is very Eurovision. It's ethnic, it's modern, it's risky. And y'all know how I feel about risk. I think with taking risks, there can be a lot of reward. And I don't think that there's really anything safe about what Kalush is doing. Now, here is the challenge, I think, for Ukraine this year. It's rap. And I'm not saying this even from my perspective. I'm really saying it more so from Europe's perspective. Rap has not done well on the Eurovision stage. Period. It's not done well on the Eurovision stage. And I feel a little bit like this entry, it's ethnic, yes. We love how it's got that earworm of the flute part. But the rap part, I think, is going to be challenging for a lot of people. I am thinking that that challenge will, you know, not show up so much in the televote. One, because let's be real, Ukraine does Eurovision well. I think Ukraine is kind of the Eurovision powerhouse at this point. A lot of people are still pointing at Sweden with that honor, but I think that Ukraine tends to just strike that right balance and meet people with that expectancy of Ukraine, giving us something traditional and giving us something a little bit risky. Yeah, I'm still in the bucket that I think Ukraine is just gonna crush the televote, but maybe it would only wind up like top 5 with the jury. And will that be enough? I don't know, because I'm thinking that there might be another country to come in and swoop in. And so I'm moving on to our next song with winner potential, and it's Greece. Greece definitely has the ability to possibly have a dark horse winner moment. It's gonna come down to how Greece stages this. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I really feel like Greece is working on possibly winning the jury this year. In an objective way, looking at what Greece is offering this year, just sonically, it's modern. It's sort of different. We have a singer-songwriter type of situation and an artist that I think gives off indie. And if we look at our jury winner from last year with John's Tears, Switzerland, I think that this song has a nice kind of parallel story to that. If the jury is sort of in the same space a little bit with where they were last year, I'm thinking it's a pretty safe bet to think that Greece has an opportunity to win the jury. And if that staging is impactful enough, could it come top 3 in the televote? Maybe, but I think that it will come down to the staging, and I think what will help them win it is Amanda just seems like such a relatable person. And if that staging feels intimate just like the song, I think she's in there. Next up to possibly win it, I'm putting this in there. I'm putting UK out there in the ether. If people want something safe, they want something reliable, they want something catchy and delivered to us by just like a relatable, down-to-earth person, the UK is gonna be in there. I feel like Sam is just such a good performer that you kind of want to have on the Eurovision stage. He's charismatic, but he doesn't seem like full of himself. He's definitely a competent vocalist. Let me say that again. He's not a singer. He's a vocalist. This is someone who is going to be delivering us a vocal that is not only competent, it is going to be amazing. I actually was trying to figure out. I'm gonna be at a loss for words, and I might actually cry watching him perform live because I have a tendency to cry when I just hear people like sing really, really well. And there is something just so amazing and masterful with the way that he sings. Again, he is a vocalist. The UK, I think, has the advantage of the performer, and I also think that there is a safety, and I do feel like when the world is crazy, when things are going wild, like everyone's default kind of becomes like pop music. And I do wonder if when the world is crazy, when things feel like a whole bunch of unrest, I wonder if for Europe, the default of like safety might end up being the UK, might end up being the BBC to bring us another Eurovision. Here's the thing though, as much as I do think that the UK has winner potential, I caution this and say that this is more of like a potential dark horse winner than like a country I really think could win, because I just don't think that the UK has enough momentum to actually get the job done. I feel like their spotty show up at Eurovision over the past few recent years, paired also with the fact that, let's be real, the UK media has just been kind of ripping Eurovision to shreds and kind of calling it out and using excuses to kind of explain away why they've winded up where they've wound up. So with that said, I say UK with an asterisk because ultimately I just don't feel like the momentum is there. Greece, there's some momentum. They came top 10 last year. You know, I think that Greece could be an amazing host, and I think that there's some momentum there for Greece. Obviously, there's some momentum there for Italy. There's some momentum there for Spain. The UK has a good song, but I don't think that the kind of external forces, past track record, momentum is really there. And some people might say, oh, but Spain hasn't really been doing that well at Eurovision. But here's the thing. Spain went back to having a national selection this year. We had Benidorm, which was one of the strongest national selections that we had this year, which did, in fact, do away and kind of create a nice pathway of momentum for Spain to possibly get it done. So I say that. And then next up, Sweden. Sweden could get it done this year. Sweden has not only the momentum, Sweden has an amazing song. It's going to be delivered well. I know some people are saying like, oh, well, she might change the staging up a little bit. Okay, if she changes up the staging a little bit, cool. Like, cool. It'll probably be good still. But I do think that when they change up this staging, yes, it might be a little glimmer, but it's not going to be enough to mess it up. This song, there is something really raw about it that I don't think Sweden's getting enough credit for. They definitely have momentum. This song is great. It could be really powerful and make a real impact on the stage. And I do think, like the UK, there is a safety about Sweden, a reliability about SVT that I think people feel. So it wouldn't be awful for them to bet on it. Well, those are the songs that I think have winner potential for Eurovision 2022. Do you agree with me? Talk to me in the comments below. Do you disagree with me? That's okay too. Talk to me in the comments below. This is a conversation, and look, I don't know all. But I think, that when we're in Italy and we're thinking about what it's going to come down to, I think that those 5 songs, if they're not winning it, they're definitely coming in the top 10, right? Like top 10, for sure, right? And I think one of them will win. Well, that's what I think. Thanks for watching. Bye.